Well, let's move away and go back to Borno State, where we had mentioned in the news that the Borno State governor says that there are beneficiaries concerning the ongoing insurgency in the state. Well, to discuss this, as we look at the current situation that's being faced by Borno State, we do have security expert Inko-Tariah joins me this morning, and he's joining all the way from Plateau State in Jos. Good morning to you. Thanks for being here.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
All right. You did hear the governor make mention of what's really happening over there in his state, the state that he governs. What do you make of the statement credited to the state governor, by the way? And some individuals are benefiting from the ongoing insurgency in the state, as he rightly mentioned. He also mentioned of some military personnel, not forgetting to, you do have other persons who act, most importantly, as those who work with the insurgents. What's your take on this?
But what the governor said is true, and of course is not new. Abacha, the late General Sani Abacha, said several years ago, before he died, that any insurgency that exceeds 24 hours implies a government involvement. So it's clear there are people benefiting from the unfortunate situation, and they position themselves in such a way that as long as the insurgency continues, they will continue to benefit. So in order to sustain their funding or their benefit, they create crisis, they fuel crisis, they come up with strategies that will always resurrect insurgency. No matter how it is being fought, they would always come up with ways to resurrect it again. Because that is the only time the government will take security serious and fund security. If everywhere is peaceful, if insurgency has been tackled, there will be no need to fund security activities in that direction. So as long as there are elements of crisis, insurgencies resurrecting here and there will always be the need to fund the operations that would seemingly put an end to it. Whereas on the other hand, it's just a circle, a vicious circle that is going on.
Okay, I just want to ask, based on your work as a security expert, what are the long-term implications of a statement like this made by a governor of a state saying that they've noticed, they've recognized, they've seen, and he's making these statements with no holds barred? What do you think the implications would be going from here?
Well, first of all, for him to be bold enough to say it, he's talking from the intelligence he has gathered. He's not talking carelessly. There are names and there are arrests, he said, that has been made. And eventually such people will be, well, let me not conclude on that, but for him to say such a thing, it means he has information, he has intelligence. So what is expected is for him to ensure that the relevant agencies, the justice system, is seriously involved in prosecuting whoever has been arrested or whoever he has identified as being connected to the insurgency in any way. So if at any point in time the justice system is also compromised, then it means that those benefiting, like he said, has caused the cut across civilians and military. So if in the process of ensuring that those arrested are being prosecuted and along the line the prosecution is being frustrated, then it also means that we need to spread the net the more to also fish out those elements in the justice system that are also part of the people benefiting. So it's something that with his kind of personality and his resolve, if he wants to fight it to the end, we could get some form of respect in the process.
Well, Mr. Inko-Tariah, there is a question that bothers many, and I really love to ask and get your feedback on this. The NCC DMS had mentioned that they've now gotten, approval to actually track devices. Most importantly, blacklisting IMEs, ELs of sudden stolen devices and so on. And most importantly, they're able to curb phone-related crimes. Are we saying that currently the crime that's ongoing in Borno State and other parts of the north, tracking devices are impossible? And are you also can you help us see if there's any possibility that this could actually be used eventually? Because many Nigerians are asking, why is it so difficult to track devices and ensure that these insurgents can actually be caught or apprehended?
Well, in civilized climes where data is treasured and is taken seriously, utilization of any technology in the process of tracking numbers will produce very great positive results. But in Nigeria, it could be difficult. Reason, the bandits, the terrorists, the criminals, people perpetrating crime, they do not register the numbers they are using. Now, what they do is when they kidnap people or when they take over a community, they use the phone numbers of those victims under their custody. They use their phone numbers to interact. So if you want to track, you will be tracking somebody, yes, whose identity is perhaps innocent, but whose contact, whose phone number is being used. And then if you are tracking, you also need the corresponding firepower to be able to arrest or to fight wherever the numbers are being tracked to. When if you get to such facilities or such locations, like the Sambisa game reserve, ideally it's supposed to be a game reserve, but it has been overtaken by the terrorists. Now, you don't need to track their phone numbers to know that they are there. It has been identified that they are there. So all that we need to do as government, with the firepower at our disposal, is to invade and then bring that forest down with any living being inside. So on the other hand, getting approval to track devices, fantastic development, but tracking of devices without following through with sufficient firepower to fight and to overcome the terrorists or the insurgents that are using the phone numbers will not give us the desired result.
Well, a lot can be said, but of course, like you've rightly mentioned and put it, action is equally needed. Thank you so much, Inko-Tariah Ipalibo, for joining us, security expert, and thanks for your time.
Thank you for having me.